Welcome lads to a 2020 KTM 790 Adventure R. I just bought this motorcycle. Seems like every video I've watched has been either in Australia or the United Kingdom. Turns out I do an Aussie accent better, so we're going to go ahead and stick with that. But I'm super thrilled to buy this motorcycle. I can't wait to get out and rip it. I'm just kidding, I'm not going to do the whole thing that way. I'd just annoy the crap out of you guys. Welcome to more responsible things, and really it seems like every video that I've watched about this motorcycle has been in either Australia or the United Kingdom. Seems like they get the bikes a lot earlier than we do, but I finally got it. Guys, this is the bike that I wanted to buy 2 years ago when I heard about it getting built and looking at the spy videos and the pictures and all the stuff we could find online. And at the time, well, obviously it wasn't available. It was going to be a couple of years before it came out. And so I bought the 1090 Adventure R. So if you're just finding this video because of this bike and you're interested in buying it, or you bought it, stick around, think about subscribing, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell icon, because I plan to do a lot with this motorcycle this year. And all you guys that are in here for the Razor content, that's not going to change. Still going to be lots of side-by-side videos as well. But I have been waiting for this motorcycle. It's here, and moto camping is something I want to get a lot more into between other types of trips. I have so many plans for this bike, and I'm so excited to have it. So of course lots of mods are going to happen. Guys, there's a lot of spec videos already up on this bike. So if you're interested in purely the specs and measurements and weights and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to dive that deep into it. You can find all that if you want. I'm just going to tell you basically why I bought the bike and my plans to do certain things with it, and that's about it. Then today we're going to take it out and get the first ride in on it, so I'm pretty excited. I have not ridden it. I brought this home on a moto carrier on the back of the Land Cruiser, so it's not been ridden at all. The odometer actually reads 0, not even 0.1. That's first time I've ever bought anything brand new that didn't have like 0.3 miles on it. It's actually 0,000. So why did I buy it over the 1090? I'm just going to let you guys know. Like I said, I wanted this bike back before it was available. I knew this was going to be the route I was going to end up going. It was between wanting to get into moto camping and not going with a... I like new stuff, I like technology, I like evolution, so I wasn't really interested in an old school bike or old school technology. That's just who I am. I like fun, new, exciting things like most people. But I did not want to buy a 500 EXC or some kind of true motorcycle that's plated, and of course try to put a bunch of camping gear on it and ride it for 300 miles round trip on the highways to get to where we're going and all of that stuff. It just wasn't going to be comfortable, wasn't going to be fun for me. I'm really just way too big to ride a dirt bike that far. I would just be coming out of my skin. The 1090 was awesome. Really great bike if you have one. From my other content, it's still a great bike. And I liked riding it a lot off-road. It was super, super capable. But it still had that cruiser feel to it, that you're sitting behind the gas tank and behind the controls, and it wasn't that dirt bike feel that we're all trying to accomplish in this adventure bike adventure, for lack of a better word. And that's really what we're trying to find, is a bike that feels like a dirt bike but rides like a street bike. And I feel like this is a huge evolutionary step forward towards that goal. This bike is 60 pounds, I think almost 60 pounds lighter than the 1090R, and to put that into perspective, that's like taking the 1090R moto camping and leaving all of the camping gear at home, spare fuel, cameras, and riding in my skivvies. That would be like just going on the bike by itself. So for that amount of weight to come off and of this motorcycle and now do those things, I mean, just sitting on this bike feels like you can rip it. You definitely feel like you're sitting on top of it like a dirt bike. Everything feels like it's below you. I love obviously the big thing that everybody knows, the gas tanks are super low on this bike. It looks like a Dakar, rally kind of setup with the big fairings and fenders down here, because this is where all your fuel is. And just sitting on it, you can feel how amazingly light the bike is. At 416 pound dry weight, it feels like 350 pounds when you're rolling around in the garage and just sitting on it. And I'm not joking, not exaggerating, just because I bought it. Like, it feels exceptionally light. So I cannot wait to get this thing off-road, because it makes you right away feel like you want to hammer this thing. You know what I mean? Just feeling it really gives you a lot of confidence, just the feel of it. So it's much lighter. And finally, it's a adventure bike that looks like a dirt bike that went to the gym. You know, it looks badass. The 1090s and 1290s and 1190s, they're kind of a acquired taste for some people. And I liked the look of it more from the back than the front. But this finally looks like a big fat dirt bike. It looks like a dirt bike that put on muscles and is wearing some big heavy coat. You know what I mean? It looks aggressive, and that's important to me, to not only feel the part but look the part. You know, I want it to look like a dirt bike, not like a street bike, not like a cruiser. This thing is overwhelmed with electronics. I would be one of the guys to tell you that I wasn't a big electronic kind of techie guy getting into this, but after getting to ride some friends' bikes like a GS 1200 Randall's and his 1290R and all these bikes that have these TFT displays, which you'll see when we get out on the road, the electronics are awesome. So that would be another big reason that I bought it. You know, the 1090 Dash felt super old school, and it was. This has got so many ride modes: rally mode, off-road mode, street mode, rain mode. It's got 9 levels of traction control that you can do on the fly, cruise control, you know, quick shift, like a street bike. I love that. Can't wait to see how that's going to feel today. Beautiful display. It's got the 12 volt. It's got a GPS mount, cornering ABS. It's got everything. It's got every single electronic option you could possibly want in a street bike, and like a dedicated street bike, but in an off-road package. But that's pretty much it, guys. I don't want to sit here and bore you with it. I think the point of this video is I want to go out and ride it, so I'm going to get geared up. And we're going to head out on the road and get a proper road test in today and just see what it's like. And there's going to be a whole bunch of future videos. I already ordered stuff for mods, so stick around for that. Of course, we'll be doing exhaust. I'll probably pull off these fairings like a lot of guys do. I'm reevaluating to buy some new motocamp equipment on how to pack that stuff in the back. I'm probably going to lighten up what I did on the previous bike with something smaller. I did put handlebar risers on this and a couple things you'll see when we get on the bike, but I ordered you know, new full wrap hand guards with aluminum. Obviously, you can get rid of plastic. I want to ditch these mirrors, but I've got some things coming for it already, so stick around for modification videos. Super excited though. Bike's beautiful. Can't believe it's been in my garage for several days and it's not left the garage. That's how crazy work's been to not come home and jump on this thing and go for a rip. I'm gonna leave these little rubber insulators on the pegs just for today, but I'll pull those off tonight because those are garbage. Once they get wet, you'll slip right off the bike if you stand up. I mean, it's exciting, man. I'm throwing my gear, get the cameras going, and let's head out on the road, see what this is like. Definitely liking the quick shift already. Feels very foreign, this bike. Feels so strange. So I got to do the cool thing where everybody puts on their gloves while they walk around their new motorcycle and they size it up. And everybody does this, so I got to do it too. Okay, relax. Couple of quick things. Bike's beautiful, by the way, and the sunlight's nice and clean. The seat needs to come up at least an inch. I feel too close to the foot pegs, really. These little buffeting cushion things need to go for sure. I feel a little bit scrunched up on it. Just a little bit. Again, I'm 6'4", but adding an inch to this, if this just was the same height overall, which I do like the dip. I wish it wouldn't have to be like a complete bench seat, but pretty comfortable. It just needs to be an inch taller. Much softer than the seat concept seat that I had on it before. But so far, really, really good. But I love that Ready to Race. Love this little watch. Yeah, auto start. Just touch it and it starts up. So right off the bat, so far the motor so smooth compared to the 1090.
The 1090 really hated to be around 3,000 RPMs in any of the gears. It would chug really, really hard, really aggressive. It wanted to be up 3,500, 4,000 RPMs all the time. 5,000 was like the sweet spot on that bike. So right off the bat, this one is so much smoother. Night and day difference, just comfortable to be able to keep the RPM low, and the motor doesn't feel like it's angry at you all the time. Speaking of the motor, the power feels fantastic. For 95 horsepower, this thing, it's got some giddy up. And from what I understand, the bike needs to break in over the first like 625 miles. So they have a, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, like a built-in governor where it's not letting you utilize the full power once you break it in past 600 miles, past that first 625 mile break-in service and oil change, then the bike will give you full power. So for 95 horsepower, the way it's set up, man, it's got some boogie, plenty of power. I was a little worried it was gonna feel slow. It's only gonna get better as we obviously decat the bike, put exhaust on it. We're probably gonna tune it too, but really happy with the power delivery right off the bat, smooth, buttery, and it gets up and goes absolutely no problem. I definitely feel like I wanna wheelie it. I'm not gonna do it today. I wanna wheelie it so bad though. It feels almost like a big supermoto. It feels planted. I would say that's the other next big thing. The KTM 1090, if you have one, at least for that bike, it felt like really wormy. At like high speed, it felt like it would dance around just a little bit, like it never wanted to be in a line. I don't know if it was my suspension settings, but this bike feels really planted. Obviously a lot more planted because the weight of all the fuel is down at the bottom of the bike, as you guys know, but it feels very planted. It feels more planted than that bike, and this bike's 60 pounds lighter. Turns really well, feels light and nimble. Again, a little bit more knee bend than I would like. These mirrors are gigantic and they need to come off the bike ASAP. Give me good view and stuff in the back, but man, they just feel like they're like in my face talking to me. The windscreen is amazing for its size. I thought for sure with the peak on my helmet that I would just get beaten to death when I was, you know, upwards of that 70 mile an hour zone, highway speed. And I'm shocked at how well this tiny little windscreen feels like it's doing twice the amount of work it should at keeping the wind off me. So that's a huge plus, because I'm not putting a big windshield on this bike. I'm not going to do it. This is going to be a dedicated off-road machine. I don't want some giant windscreen on the bike that I have to deal with getting dirty and all of that off-road. So we're going to leave it the way it is. Ergonomics, everything feel good. The switches, I'm surprised it didn't self-cancel. I don't know if it doesn't have a self-cancel. I can't imagine that it doesn't. But I had to click off the signal when I made that turn way back there. So that's interesting. Can't imagine it doesn't have it. The quick shift feels fantastic. I've never had a bike that had quick shift. I've ridden bikes with quick shift, and it's really smooth. Obviously it wants to be up. We'll just go down right now. We're doing 38 miles an hour in fourth gear. Down to second. But it wants you to be on the gas when you're coming up in gears. As a road bike, it's twice as good as I was hoping it was going to be. All the reviews that I was watching really had me convinced that it was going to feel like a naked bike and not be very comfortable on the road. I do find myself hunching over a little bit because I need that seat height back. I need to mention the seat where I have my bars, but really well mannered on the road. Motor super smooth. Gearbox is buttery. Turns in no problem. I mean, feels light, feels nimble. I got no complaints. The exhaust needs to be changed. It's very quiet. It definitely feels small. You know, it definitely encourages me to want to take this thing off-road and just run it hard. I can't wait. The suspension's really stiff from the factory, I can tell you that. It's definitely comes set up for off-road because it's a stiff ride right out of the box. Obviously you can adjust that with the adjusters on the shocks. The fork and the shocks are easy to adjust, so you can dial that down if you want a little bit softer for road. But doing that right there, I mean, it feels like it wanted to wheelie, but that traction control's up all the way. I haven't figured out how to turn it down yet. Probably a good idea for now. I don't know how I feel about the tires. These, what are they, Metzlers or something like that? 50-50, 50 on-road, 50 off-road. Right now on the road they feel great. No complaints. But I loved the TKC 80s that came on the 1090. I mean, that tire felt like a street tire. And it was an 80-20 as far as 80% off-road, 20% on-road, how they have that tire labeled. But man, I'm telling you, we pushed it hard in the canyon, stuff I don't record, and that bike gripped. So I'm definitely going to go to a TKC 80 once I wear these out or get them low enough to justify pulling them off. Because off-road they felt like a knobby. They were fantastic. So there are a couple of things that bothered me. I mean, this is a minor gripe, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. There was one thing that bothered me when I bought the bike. Not enough to actually say something to the dealer or complain about it out loud, but you might notice that this cruise control light's been flashing the whole time I've been driving it. So when you buy this motorcycle, it is factory set up and ready for cruise control and quick shift, meaning in all the electronics that it has, it didn't require hard parts for the quick shift. And as far as the cruise control goes, this multi-function switch right here, it's supposed to be right here on the top. Little switch for cruise control. So what they do is they sell you the cruise control and the quick shift by just turning it on. Meaning that basically it's a locked feature in the bike that only KTM can turn on through their software download. Quick shift didn't have to install anything. They just had to turn the on button, hit the on button. And that's a little irritating because it was like 390 bucks for quick shift. So you're telling me it's already capable of doing it, but you locked the button, and to turn it on I gotta pay you 390 bucks. If it's already built into the bike, you should just include it in the bike. I feel like that's just, you know, them getting extra money at the sale by giving it to you and then making you pay them to turn it on. I felt that's kind of cheesy. Same thing for the cruise control. It was a software download to turn on the cruise control. And this module right here, this multifunction module, you have to buy another one for 85 bucks, looks just like this, with a little button on top to be able to turn it on for 85 bucks. Cruise control was like 300 bucks to turn the button on, the software download. And then you're gonna throw this in the trash, which costs you apparently 85 bucks because the new one's 85 bucks with the switch on top. You know, I mean, really? It's already in the bike, just give it to us. So to me, that's like saying that they couldn't, you know, they priced the bike aggressively at $13,500 here in the States. And that tells me they wanted really MSRP to be, you know, 14 something. So they gave you these features and then they get you to pay them to turn them on. So really, you're paying them the extra money they wanted to put in the MSRP price. Does that make sense? And if they don't get it, they don't get it, but they know most people are gonna want it. So anyways, small gripe, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I would have felt better spending the 600, 700 bucks if they had to install a whole bunch of crap, you know, and actually like take the bike apart or something. I mean, I'm kind of glad they didn't, but I think you get what I'm getting after. It's just, it's a small thing. I feel it's kind of cheesy, but moving on. So the next bit of this, we're gonna get out of this canyon and get on the freeway and see how we do at cruising altitude as far as wind and comfort. You know, I can tell you the wind coming around my legs is not bad at all when I've been riding it. I thought I would feel a lot more exposed. Obviously, they got these flared out a little bit. and it provides pretty good wind protection on your legs. This is Cook's Corner, by the way. It's the happening spot for motorcyclists and Harley Davidson guys on weekends. Oh, I see a 990. The switch is coming, by the way. This switch, they didn't have it in stock, and they also didn't have the heated grips in stock. And you have to do both at the same time because you got to take part of the front end of the bike off. So it's coming. I'm just going to do it at home. So that's why the cruise control is blinking, is because basically it's set up, but it's not reading that the switch is here. So it's basically freaking out. I turn on a right or left signal, and it gives me the hazard indicator. Like, what's that about? Look at that. Why isn't it just one arrow? And it apparently doesn't self-cancel. Yeah, not bad at all. Again, surprising at how well the screen does. I mean, the wind's hitting me in the helmet, but for some reason it's not as violent somehow. It's how it's hitting the peak. So it's good. It'll probably change if I raise a seat. But overall, really happy with it on the freeway. It's not bad at all. Wind protection's pretty decent. I can see that just that left one's blinking. That's retarded. Why would you do that? Gosh, the motor's so smooth. Yep, and they don't self-cancel. Confirm. It's funny, people look at you with cameras on everything. You know, I got cameras facing me, cameras on my helmet. And they're just wondering what's gonna happen. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, if you just found the channel because I'm doing a review on this brand new awesome motorcycle, please think about sticking around. Hit the subscribe. I'm going to do a lot of moto camping this year. Like I said, a lot of modifications of the bike and fun stuff. This thing, I think, is going to be badass. In the dirt, can't wait to see how it does. I'm sure Randall's going to buy one. But if you guys enjoyed it, let me know. If you guys didn't enjoy it or something you'd like to see different next time, leave it in the comment section below. If you have questions on the bike, leave it in the comments. Anything at all, feel free to reach out. Email is in the about section of the channel, theoffroadadventurechannel@gmail.com. You guys can email me if you have anything you want to chat about. It is going to be an awesome year, 2020, guys. Stick around. Still want to long travel the Razor. I still have a Glamis video that I'm putting up, finishing editing. It was a big one, and just take me forever. Just hang in there though, it's coming. After this video, that'll be the next video. And as always, hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are having fun. Hope life's good to everybody. We'll catch you on the next video, guys. See you around.